Hi Year 6, welcome back. So this half term we are looking at a new project question, and it is, do our hearts make us who we are? And we are going to be looking at all sorts of different things to be able to try to answer this question. And today is our first lesson, and we are going to be getting our science on. So we are going to be thinking with our scientific hats on. Okay, so the first thing I would like you to do is write down everything that you know about the body. Now, there's a different slant on this if you're in school to if you are at home. If you are at home, you are going to get 40 seconds, so 2 lots of 20, to write down everything that you know about the body. If you are in school, I actually want you to work in a pair. And if you're at home and you can work in a pair, then great, okay? And one person will tell the other person everything that they can remember and know about the body in 20 seconds. And that person will write it down on their whiteboard. And then you will swap, and the other person will tell them everything they know, different facts, hopefully, about the body. And then they will write it down in their 20 seconds, okay? So when I set the time, I'm going to say switch halfway through. I want you to reflect back on your prior learning, okay? You studied digestion. Do you remember the tights and the squidgy and the stuff that you learned in year 4? And I also want you to think, what do you know about our hearts? What do you know about the lungs and muscles and other things like that? So I'm going to set a timer now. I'm going to start with the yellow timer. So if you have divided yourselves into pairs, then that's great. If you are working on your own, then you get 40 seconds. So we're going to start our timer. Ready, steady, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then you are going to switch. 3, 2, 1, stop. Well done. Hopefully you have written down loads of information. I didn't give you long. I wanted it just to be the stuff on the very top of your head. Now, if you are in school, I would like you to stop the video right now, and I would like you to get a big sheet and write down all the facts that you guys have learned about the body. If you are at home, we can't really share those facts, but what I will do is I will take a picture of the work that the kids have done in school, and perhaps you can add to it at home. Okay. So why are our hearts important? This term, we're going to be looking at our bodies, but focusing in particular on our hearts, something called circulation and how to keep healthy and well through diet and exercise. I want to know what you want to know. So what you need to do now is write me 3 questions that you would like to know about our hearts, diet and circulation. And we will try to make sure that these get answered on our learning adventure. So write down 3 questions. If you are in school, I want you to pause the video, write your 3 questions that give you about 30 seconds, and then share them, and the teacher can write them on the flip chart. If you are working independently and you're working at home, I want you to write them down on the forum, and then we can have a whole big year group list and see if we can get those answered. Fabulous. Now, here is a warning, okay? We are looking at our hearts, and so the best way to really get into what our hearts are like and how they work is by looking at something called heart dissection. It's where a scientist looks at the heart as a muscle, and they use a scalpel and a knife, and they open it up and look on the inside. Now, I have got a link here that will take us to a dissection. It is a little bit gory, but it's no worse than, say, watching your grown-ups cut up meat or things like that. It's not that bad. Some of you I know will actively hope it's more bloody and gory than I'm afraid it actually is, okay? Some of you might find it a bit much, and if you do, that's okay. But if you can watch it, please do, because it's an important part of your learning to learn how the heart works. Okay, so here is the link. Now, if you are working from home, you will need to go back onto DB Primary, and you need to click on the link that says heart dissection, and it will take you to the page. What I want you to do while you are watching, and it's about 15 minutes long max, I think, is to make notes, okay? I want you to make notes of the important things. If you feel that you need to pause it as you're going along just to write things down, that's fine. You need to think about what are the chambers of the heart called, how many are there, where does the blood come from, go to, and any other key words, key parts that you notice as you go along. All right, so right now you need to stop, you need to go away, watch the heart dissection, and then come back to me here. Fabulous, well done. I hope you learned an awful lot. It's not very nice when you pulled the blood clots out, that was a bit. But isn't it fascinating that we've all got one of these inside us, and actually it's kind of heart-shaped, isn't it? It's not quite the Valentine heart, but it's very similar. So here is a picture of what you have hopefully just seen. There are certain 4 chambers in our hearts, and they have names: vena cava, right atrium, ventricle, aorta, pulmonary artery, left atrium, and left ventricle. We are going to study this in greater detail later in the term, so I'm not going to go into too much right now. But the heart's main job is to pump the blood around our body and also to our lungs so it gets oxygen in it. Okay. What I want you to do in a minute is you're going to be writing me an explanation text. Now, we've done explanation texts in school. We did them in September, so you should be a little bit familiar with them. Explanation texts tell us how something works or why something happens. And I'm going to give you a question that you're going to answer by writing an explanation text. Okay, so the part on the left where it says examples, you don't really need to worry about because I've already written the question that I want you to answer. What you need to do is start with an introduction, okay? Then you need to explain how something works or why something does what it does or why it's important, okay? In chronological order. That means time order. One thing after another thing after another thing. First, next, after. Those are called temporal conjunctions. If you see on the far right-hand side, it talks about temporal conjunctions, and that's meaning time. Causal conjunctions talk about why, and again, we'll be learning a bit more about that later in the term. You need to be writing formally, so in a formal type tone, so as if perhaps you were writing to the Queen or Mrs. Wilde or something like that. You're not writing to each other. Definitely no text speak. You're writing in the third person, so you're writing he, she, it, and you're also writing now. It does this, it is this, okay? Not was. We're hoping we're all still alive. So, your question is, why is the heart important? That has to be your title. Why is the heart important? You need to write an introduction, sort of outlining your ideas. You need to explain what you've learnt about the heart, what it's made up of, what it does, and anything else that you think makes our hearts important. Think outside the box is all I'm going to say. And then you need to sum it all up at the end. Okay? It doesn't need to be perfect. This is your go at answering the project question, and you don't know everything yet, but I want to find out what you do know so we can make sure our lessons are brilliant as they can be. Once you have written that, I would like it if you had a go at dissection yourself. Now, I'm not going to ask you to go and get a heart. That would be a bit much, but you can try out a chicken leg dissection if you want to, or you can dissect a daffodil, which might be a bit nicer. Okay, there are links to how to do that and what you need for that on our DB primary page. It is an optional add-on if you want to, although I hope in school that we will have managed to get you some daffodils and you can have a go at cutting them up or pulling them apart and having a look at what's inside. If you do put on your scientific goggles and become a scientist, I would like you to send me a picture of your diagram and show me what you discover, and you need to label that as well. There will be extra dojos. For those who manage to do the plenary, I'd be really, really pleased to see what you get out of it. Okay, so why is the heart important? You need to go away, you need to complete that and make sure that you hand it in, and then have a go at a bit of dissection. Get your professor goggles on at ready. Have a great day, Year 6. If you've got any questions, then just get in touch with me. Otherwise, I shall see you tomorrow.